seek medical attention.
Hello everyone, Nick from SkyPyre here, and I have some updates to share on my first-person shooter project, ArmorPaint. It's been a while since we last spoke, but in my defense, we were releasing a game. Evasive Maneuvers, the space-based cat-and-mouse online multiplayer arcade spaceship arena game, available now on Steam. Alright, shameless plug over. Back on the topic of ArmorPaint, we've got code, we've done refactoring, and we have guns. So, obviously, the big thing that was done this leg of the race was the weapons. Functionally, I have almost fully implemented the entire arsenal I have planned for the game. It's worth noting that the current roster of weapons consists of 16 unique guns, each with multiple different firing mechanisms, projectile types, and alt-fire combinations. Yes, roll credits. Across those 16 weapons, I have hit-scan projectiles, slow projectiles, fast projectiles, projectiles with splash damage, projectiles with knockback, seeking projectiles, projectiles with stick things, sprays, beams, balls, bombs, and the list just goes on. To be fair, I made the list, but that doesn't mean it was a walk in the park to implement. As much as I'd love to go into detail about all the different weapons, I feel like that belongs in a different video. This video is more about the progress overall on the project, so keep an eye out for that other one. Needless to say, it was quite the undertaking, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't take a huge leap forward in my understanding of coding with blueprints because of it. That huge leap did, however, cause a bit of a kink in my progress, which is to say that I did a lot of redoing stuff that I've already done. And yes, I am in fact referring to the interaction system once again. That would probably be the second most radical thing I did for this update. The introduction of weapons to the player changed a lot of how I programmed the functionality the player had. And of course, once you start changing the functionality of the player, you learn more about modularity and other very useful aspects of programming that you should probably be doing in other parts of your code. And in my case, the interaction system was the prime candidate for reworking. Thus, Trigger System 4.0 was born. It essentially performs the same function, but it's significantly better designed under the hood. Some examples of previously impossible parameters being the ability to change the shape of trigger volumes, have multiple commands executed on a trigger, and have monsters or props interact with trigger objects. Destructible triggers are also now added, so I have the ability to make objects the player must destroy to trigger the next event, as well as a slew of other trigger types like lights, spawners, movers, crushers, timers, and event collectors. Of course, along with the two major updates is a veritable smorgasbord of optimizations, improvements, and refinements that generally make the game A. more efficient under the hood, B. more performant than before, or C. just easier for me to work with in the editor. However, I'm not just some cold, calculating coder, I'm also an artiste. So I've been delving into the complicated process of trying to figure out the best pipeline to achieve my intended art style, with the lowest effort possible. I don't have much to show on the matter, but I have been working with a couple of interesting tools. The first, of course, is Blender, and while I originally wanted to do everything in Blender, I realized that despite its power, maybe it isn't the best at doing everything. I know some Blender fans are going to model and then light torches at me about that, but listen, Unreal is already enough. I don't need to get waist deep into a completely different 3D art ecosystem right now. The second tool that I've come to really enjoy and experiment with is ArmorPaint, a free or cheap substance painter alternative that I've had sitting around for a while. It's great for 3D texture painting as well as baking things like ambient occlusion, normals, and curvature. And while I'm still new to it, I look forward to exploring it further, and am always happy to support the open source community. Finally, I've been doing a whole lot of concept art using the tablet-based Infinite Painter, a simple and robust drawing app. My primary focus has been the weapons, since that's what I was working on in the game itself, but I've also been doing some pickup and character sketches as well. Besides a pile of unimplemented and uninteresting research, that's about all I have to share right now. There's a new demo available on itch for free to download, and it includes a refactored movement tutorial as well as a new pickup and weapon tutorial area. Though, bear in mind that the weapon tutorial is not finished. In fact, it's barely even started, but all the weapons are in there for you to play with if you'd like to. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to check out the progress, download the demo and give it a try. Be sure to let me know what you think. Until next time, take care.